Welcome back inside the State Champ Studios for another edition of Hockey Time. I'm Jonathon Kidd along with Sean Baligian. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Great to be back. I was just telling him, all jokes aside, I've missed this the last couple weeks. So it's great to be back and talking about a great product here in the state of Michigan.
State Champs Hockey Time is presented by our friends at the Alta Equipment Company. So, Sean, your new top 25 rankings have just come out, and Detroit Catholic Central is number one once again.
Yeah, you know what? You have to put them on that pedestal. I think the last one that we did was very, very close. I had made the comment that I could understand if you wanted to say Heartland number one. I could understand that. And don't get me wrong, it's not like Heartland's going anywhere. They're going to be very dangerous.
They're number two.
Yeah, but right now, make no mistake about it, I think the undisputed number one in the state is Catholic Central.
And a big win over Orchard Lake St. Mary's over the weekend.
Yeah, and by all accounts, it was one of those games that, what else would you expect? The Eaglets played them very tough, but CC pulled away as the game went on. Came away with a convincing win. And, John, the last couple of weeks, that's a good thing about the holidays. While you and I don't have a chance to get together to do this, you and I are chatting. Yeah. I know you've been to a bunch of games. I've been to a bunch of games. It was great to go out and see St. Clair Shores and Chip Valley on Saturday night. There's so much good hockey being played, man.
And speaking of Chip Valley, we covered them against Stony Creek. So what do you like about Chip Valley?
You know what? I think you start Cam Steskowski's a good-looking player. We've talked about him. They stayed the course. Early on in that game, it looked like that might be a Smythe Division game. And what I mean by that is, the 9-7, 8-6 game and everything, but they battened down the hatches. I think conversely, there are a lot of really nice pieces out in St. Clair Shores. I think they have the goaltending that could make them very intriguing come playoff time. It's about getting in that right space with their goaltending, though, because, in particular, Will Young's a guy that was out in the summer at the MDHL. I think the play is there. So two teams to keep an eye on, certainly as we draw ever closer to the playoff.
We have talked about Brighton and Heartland a lot on this show. In Livingston County, there is the Howell Highlanders. They are now up to 3 after their win over Flint Powers.
And I'll tell you what, you could make the argument right now that they might be number 2. With all due respect to Heartland. Keith Robertson's done a fantastic job, and so much of it comes back to goaltending. Lansky's been outstanding, make no mistake about that, but you keep hearing the same thing from everybody that plays them is they play the right way, they come at you hard, et cetera, et cetera. So Howell really is a team to watch. And let's not forget, John, a lot of youngsters on that team as well, so that makes them very, very intriguing.
So is there a lot of sophomores that are going to be juniors?
Yeah, you could play that game. We could do that old bit again for sure. But no, you know what? Hey, again, we've talked about it so much the last few years. There's a lot of good happening out in Livingston County, and certainly you never, ever can forget about Brighton, because we're getting very close to that time again, John, where we're going to sit back and say, well, it's Brighton. Nobody should be surprised when Kurt Kavisto has them popping a game or two that maybe a lot of people didn't see them popping.
And how about Houghton? They beat your number 2 team in the state in Heartland over the holiday break, and then they beat Brighton over the weekend and Novi.
I'm going to tell you right now.
And they're now up to 7.
I'm going to tell you right now, Mike is a guy that deserves some Coach of the Year consideration. He's done a fantastic job. Everybody talked about their losses. They've had so many losses really for a couple of years in a row. But I think what some people forgot to do is talk about some of the guys coming back and how they took the next step. I think Connor Arco is a guy. DeForge is a guy. More on him later. And the one thing that I think was the biggest question is who's going to fill the role of a darn good goaltender? And they're getting good goaltending right now. Look out, the Gremlins are back. I think people thought they were going to take a step back this year. Not so fast. The Gremlins are a team to be reckoned with again in D3.
We had 2 teams out on the west side that played over the weekend. It was Byron Center and Caledonia. We have heard a lot about Caledonia. We've covered Byron Center in our Game Time Live broadcast against Northville. It was a 4-4 game on Saturday.
And you know what? That is a perfect matchup because you have the established. Not that long ago, Byron Center was the cute team. Everybody going, oh, I've heard some good things about them. And obviously they fulfilled their destiny. In Caledonia, the Scots were the same way. Johnny, I'm sure you heard the same thing that I heard. I had multiple coaches from other schools hit me up and say, look out, this team's legitimate. How else was it going to end? A 4-4 tie. Byron Center's going to be all right. You know that's a team that's going to be a team to be reckoned with. But if you aren't in yet on the Caledonia Scots, you better wake up. There's some good things happening for them.
Last couple of years we have talked about Clarkston. They made it to the Final Four last year in Division I. They are now in your top 25 rankings at 15, and you also have Jeffers in the rankings and Midland Dow.
Let me start with Clarkston. You knew that they were going to get right. That's the one thing about the usual suspect mantra that we throw out there. They're going to find a way, and so much of it starts with coaching. I can't say enough about Coach Breyer. I've had multiple coaches, and I'm telling you, this rings for me. It should ring for everybody. When other coaches are telling you, look out for this team, look out for that team, that should tell you all you need to know, and Clarkston's backing it up. Johnny, Midland Dow, I'm glad that you brought up Midland Dow. That's a really good story. Take a look at what they've been able to do so far. I think they deserved it, John. And, another team up in the UP, man, and again, I'm going to repeat the same line. Multiple guys said, keep an eye on Jeffers. And Johnny,
they're 11-1 on the year.
Proof's in the pudding,
And
baby.
Jeffers
Let's see.
right, and Jeffers is right there with, right by Hancock, by Calumet and Houghton. That's going to be an interesting region.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. It's a great story. So, yeah, you always want to pay attention to teams. And, there are other teams. I mean, let's not forget what Sault Ste. Marie was able to do last year. And, can they take a next step? So I think, per usual, there's a lot of intrigue up in the UP.
And to see Sean's full top 25 rankings, you can head to the website at statechampsnetwork.com. And I wanted to touch quick on the M1 Griffins. We covered them against Troy United over the holidays. Mm-hmm. They had a goalie goal over the weekend against Stony Creek.
Isn't that great to see? I mean, we've known that they've had some talent. Obviously, Charlie Price has been a name that has, been in the hopper for a couple of years. But, boy, you love to see that. And the way the boys celebrated, that was great footage, Johnny.
Yeah, very Chris Osgood-ish.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out to Ozzy. But, hey, John, you know what? It's really cool to see moments like that. I'm so glad one of the good things that you do is we got the fan cam. You got footage like that, man. I mean, you can't compete with the kid cam. We all know that. But we'll find a way to get some good footage out there.
It's time now for our Coaches Corner, brought to you by our friends at the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. And we're going to spotlight the head coach at the Capital City Capitals, Joe Ford. Boy,
what a great guy. He does so much behind the scenes. I mean, not only for Cap City, but I think the game in general, not even just at the high school level. Fantastic guy, and I'll tell you what, you got to like what he's doing up at Cap City. They're a really good story. We had them ranked not that long ago. Don't be surprised if they don't find their way back in the rankings, but they're getting good goaltending. Sean Story's having a good year, and then Chase Potter's really leading the way up front. But it starts with Joe. Joe's a guy that gets the game, lives the game, loves the game. Big fan of Joe Ford's work.
Yeah, and just talk about also his work with the Coaches Association.
Yeah, he does so much for the game of hockey. I know he's done it at many different levels, but, when you have a guy that is so, meshed in with the game of hockey, doing some things for high school hockey and looking at it from what's the best interest for everybody. Boy, those are the type of guys that you want in positions like that can lead, that can help take this product to levels that we haven't seen. As good as it is right now, and it is, there's a next level there. And with guys like Joe Ford, I like the direction it's heading.
Yes, and they also went to the UP this past weekend. They lost to Calumet, but they had a good win over Hancock.
Yeah, and I love seeing those pictures. They do a good job getting all those pictures out there. I saw it on their Twitter account. I saw it on Coach Ford's Twitter account as well. It's a special thing. We talked about it on our last show, and I'm so glad that a lot of the guys all around the state have that opportunity to experience what is a really special trip.
We're going to make a special shout out to Easton Reber from the Cap City. He did the worm in the post-game celebration.
I think I pulled 5 muscles and popped my hamstring just watching that. But that's the fun that we're talking about. Yeah. Get that stuff out on social media and let everybody know what a magical place high school hockey is.
So good luck to Joe Ford and the rest of the Capital City Capitals the rest of the season. And that was our Coaches Corner, brought to you by our friends at the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association.
At Alto Equipment, we know when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. Alto Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction, including Volvo, Leeboy, Sonnebogen, Avant, ASV, and more to provide the state of Michigan with industry-leading service and support. Alto Equipment services all makes and models, and their technicians are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Do you have a big project? Alta Rents has you covered with the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan. Give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
Your persistence and dedication have brought you this far. But the fire of curiosity within you burns to push beyond your limits. LTU is the place where your passions and curiosities can soar, pushing your mind and body to new magical heights. Lawrence Technological University. Be curious. Make magic.
All right, it's time now for our Warrior Hockey Player of the Year update. So, Sean, we talked to the committee over the holidays, and we're going to make some changes.
Yeah, this is how it works. Again, if you're new to this, we told you a few weeks ago that we would make changes periodically during the year, and over the holiday, we decided to make a couple of changes to our Player of the Year list.
And who are the two that are going in now?
Well, you could really pick a couple guys from Trenton, but I think the guy that stands out right now is Durbin. We saw him up close and personal when they played Stevenson. I thought he was outstanding. This is a guy that does a little bit of everything, one of the leaders of a really good Trojan team. And, the same thing could be said for Houghton. You could pick a couple of different players, but we decided to go with DeForge. And, it was interesting because I was talking to Micah, of course, the head coach up there, and he compared what he's doing to that of Patrice Bergeron. Now, I'll tell you what, if you watch this show, you understand hockey. Comparing somebody to Patrice Bergeron is a big compliment. This is a guy that can get it done at both ends of the ice, and that's what it's all about. John, on this list, you're talking about guys that play a 200-foot game, and certainly he applies to that. So, to me, no-brainers, no disrespect. Guys can earn their way back on. We've seen it before, but right now, those were the two changes we decided to go with.
And you can vote for Jace DeForge and Donovan Durbin on our website at statechampsnetwork.com. And that was our Warrior Hockey Player of the Year update.
Out here, it's not just about the hustle. It's about breaking the game. Every single day. Zeroing in on what we want, putting a target on it, and hitting the bullseye. Over and over again, because second best, that's for somebody else's story. The fire that fuels us, the bond that unites us, we don't just play the game. We set it ablaze. We break through.
It's time now for our Wall Award update, brought to you by our friends at Warrior Hockey. Sean, we talked to the committee on the Wall Award over the holiday break, and we're also going to be making some changes to our top 10.
Yeah, much like we say with Player of the Year, and goalie was different this year, John, because I thought that there was a huge group of guys that could make a pitch, and a couple guys have stuck out. We mentioned one earlier. What did you say? 174 saves for Tice against CC. We can't look past that anymore. I mean, he is a big part of the reason why you're seeing Cranbrook near the top of the Division III ranks again. And boy, I'll tell you what, a lot of people talk about what's happening up front for Powers, and rightfully so, but they got a pretty darn good goaltender back there as well. And a lot of the guys that have seen Powers play, again, this is word of mouth from not only guys on our committee, but guys that have played these teams. Pretty hard to deny Clark up at Flint Powers as well. So again, you can make your way back on the list if your play dictates it, but
Good example was Levi Pannell a couple years ago. He was taken off the list. He came back on, and he won the Wall Award. So anything can happen. So if you do get removed from the list and you get back on, your votes come back on. So not like you have to start back at zero.
Yeah, and John, to that point, you know what? We can't argue when guys are putting up the numbers, when they're playing as well as they are. And certainly that was a case. And right now you're talking about two guys that earn their way on this list.
You can vote for Blake Tice and Hunter Clark at our website at statechampsnetwork.com. And that was our Warrior Hockey Wall Award update. It's time now to preview the week ahead in high school hockey. And Sean, let's talk about girls hockey for a few minutes. They have a hockey showcase out in Fraser this weekend.
You know what? Keep doing what you're doing. I think there's a good buzz out there. I wish we could get out there. We're going to be up in Traverse City, but we're going to try to show you some love anytime we can. It's the game. We all love the game. That's why we're here. I think it's great, Johnny. They're taking strides now. You're having a showcase like this. You're having your own day for championships and everything. Johnny, I think it's fantastic. Good luck to all the teams involved.
And talk about the growth of girls hockey over the years. Seems like when state champs started in 2002, I was a very, very young man back in that day. But also just the growth of it, the quality of hockey has grown.
Yeah, it has, and as hockey continues to grow in this area, I think you're seeing more and more young ladies make the choice to play this game. And once this game gets in your blood, you know it never gets out. So I think as you've seen players go up, you've seen a lot of these programs go up, and hopefully, John, we get the opportunity to cover more events like this. You know, it's tough when, unfortunately, this is the time of year where there are a lot of things going on, and you know, you could go here, you could go there, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a place on the table for the girls at this level, because to me, hockey is hockey. I'm a hockey fan, and we're all for it.
Shout out to Janine Martinez and Craig Ward, who reached out to us over the last few weeks about this showcase, and they're going to have a skills competition too.
I think it's fantastic, and that's what the showcase should do. Showcase the play that's going on. Showcase the teams. Showcase some of the individuals. So keep rowing in the right direction. You know what, Johnny? More and more people get involved and get a chance to see what's going on and the work these coaches are putting in and the work that the girls are putting in. That's a beautiful thing for everybody.
Games will be going on all day Saturday, and to see the schedules, head over to the Michigan High School Girls Hockey website. We got some big games on the docket that are in your top 25 rankings. How about the game tonight between Midland Dow at Flint Power?
Oh, what a great measuring stick. You know, how far have the Chargers come? Well, we're going to find out. When you have to take on Powers, that'll tell you all you know. Travis Perry and another guy that won a championship not that long ago, and boy, oh boy, they're looking like one of the teams to beat in Division II right now. What a good measuring stick.
And also on Wednesday night, how about Granville taking on Grand Rapids Catholic Central? Catholic Central beat them 2-0 a couple weeks ago.
Wednesday night, there are a few intriguing games, and that is certainly one of them. Two teams that are ranked. I think two coaches that have been there for a long time, some pecking order decisions to be made Wednesday night in that one.
Another game on Wednesday night in the KLAA. Howell is heading on the road to Northville.
I am going out to that one, Johnny, and
it's not a far drive. It's not a far drive.
It is not a far drive at all.
About 2 minutes, 3, 4, 6?
Maybe a minute and 40 seconds, honestly. No, but all jokes aside, you know what?
I had to get him for that because he always gets on me for going to games at Trenton. So.
Kind of true. Northville is really about to do this. Take my word for it.
Yeah, they won 4 in a row.
I think people already know they're a pretty good team. I think there's another level there, and I think they're about to hit that level. Measuring stick. I mean, one of the best teams. I mean, I put them at number 3 for a reason, and I think that their body of work supports that. But going on the road to take on this up-and-coming Mustang team, man, that's going to be a fun one.
And how about Brother Rice? They're heading on the road up north to Houghton on Friday.
This is the time of year, if you have followed what Coach Chappett has done, where the Warriors start to get themselves right. Not that there's anything wrong, but you start to see them get into that kind of playoff mode and find a way to win tough games. And it's going to be tough. Anytime you go to the UP, it's going to be tough. But keep an eye on Brother Rice moving forward. This is kind of, Johnny, around the time they make their move, and all of a sudden, by the time playoff comes, once again, yet again, they're one of the favorites in D2.
Big game out on the west side. We have East Grand Rapids taking on Caledonia.
Isn't that huge? EGR still, right now, in my mind, might be the team to beat in Division 3, and another opportunity for Caledonia to show everybody what we already know, that the Scots are legit.
On Saturday night, we have number 1 Detroit Catholic Central taking on number 9 Cranbrook. A few weeks ago, they played in the Catholic League Championship game. Tice had like 175 saves, right?
Yeah, I think that was the number. What was it, 175 out of 177? I think that was the number. Hey, I'm going to say again, while we're sitting here talking about Division 3, don't forget about the champs. This is a really good team. They're getting fantastic goaltending from Tice and Loisel, but this is a very good team. And CC is starting to come into form. John, I was of the opinion, I said it early in the season, if somebody wants to get CC, you better do it early because you're starting to see CC come into form. And heck, they're still the number 1 team in the state.
And how about Tridentine Soul finally putting CC at number 1?
Yeah, he had to. There was no choice there. No doubt about that.
So, Sean, we're going to start the year off with a bang. State Champs Game Time Live is heading to Traverse City this weekend.
What a fantastic tournament this is. We had so much fun there last year. You want to talk about first class. Everything involved in this tournament is first class. And oh, by the way, the hockey's tremendous. Take a look at the slate across the board. There are so many good games. Something for everybody there, but we have 5 special broadcasts that we're really looking forward to.
So we're going to broadcast 3 games on Friday, and we're going to start with the 4 o'clock game between Marquette and Forest Hills Central.
Isn't that fantastic, Johnny? I love it. Marquette is a team that has been in the rankings for a while. Coach Garrett's done such a fantastic job there. Obviously, we have a guy on our Wall Award list there. Forest Hill Central, a team that is ranked, a team that is dangerous, a team that is capable of making it back to USA. Don't forget they were there 2 years ago, so that should be a dandy.
For the 6:15 game, we have the host school, the Bay Reps, taking on Midland Dow.
Well, and the Bay Reps, we saw Boynton Fisher last year, and we all liked what we saw, and certainly he has earned his way on our list. And Midland Dow kind of letting everybody know, hey, we still have some pretty good players up our way. So that is a really, really intriguing matchup.
For the nightcap on Friday night, Traverse City Central is taking on Livonia Stevenson.
Well, can we call it the Hall of Fame game? You have the legend in Coach Givens and then the Hall of Famer in Coach Mitchell. So these are 2 teams that are very familiar with each other. They've played this game for forever now. It seems like every year they find a way to get together. So looking forward to seeing those 2.
We're going to rest up a little bit during the day on Saturday, but we'll be back at the rink for the game between Heartland and Alpena.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. 2 ranked teams. Alpena's been in our top 25 all year. Heartland's been near the tippy top all year. Fantastic game. Really looking forward to that one, John.
And in the finale of the North-South Showcase, we have Traverse City West taking on Plymouth. Plymouth that's carrying that momentum after that big win over Salem.
And I like what the guys at TC West are doing, because I remember talking to them last year and they said, hey, look, this is a process. We know that better than anybody. You want to get a little bit better. And Plymouth knows that routine. You've seen them do that with Dallas and AJ. So, 2 up-and-coming teams, that's a great way to finish the weekend for us.
Absolutely. So all 5 games will be on our State Champs YouTube channel. You can watch it for free on Friday and Saturday. And Sean, we are leaving on Thursday. Mm-hmm. So we're going to pack everyone in the van, right? So it's going to be me, you, Barbecue Mike, Kurt Hunter, John Watson, Chuck Pellerito, Kevin Trzynski, and Rock and Rye Robbie's going to make the trip.
There's nothing like that van. And we all, especially when the temperature's a little cold, we all do our artistry on the windows of the van as well. So that should be a blast.
Remember, I hyped up the Kid Cam a little bit for the MIHL KLA Showcase. I was a little bit under the weather. This guy right here said you have to make it for the Trenton Livonia Stevenson. I wasn't 100%, but I made it. But now that I am healthy, I'm good to go. The Kid Cam is going to go crazy.
Oh, I can't wait. Just 2 days of the Kid Cam and shots that you're not going to get anywhere. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Don't tell anybody. He got special shoes, too. So the kid cam's going to be in full effect.
Yeah, and I tested it out last Friday against Trenton and Graber Richard, and I did not fall.
I love it. So, no, really looking forward to it. Johnny gets the shots that you're not seeing elsewhere.
And just a shout out quick to the Bay Reps for welcoming us, and we're going to be staying at the Lakemore Resort.
Unbelievable. I mean, honestly, it was just first class all the way they treat you at the rink, the way that everything is established up there. I'm telling you right now, if you get an opportunity to go up there, even if your team isn't playing, go up there. This is just a first class tournament, and props to those guys across the board.
And one more time, so check out State Champs Game Time Live up in Traverse City this weekend on the State Champs YouTube channel. So that is it for another edition of State Champs Hockey Time. Sean, we're going to be going on the road here, so 3 days of fun with you.
I love it. It's fantastic. What do we got, 5 games?
Yeah, 5.
That's the way it should be. Let's go to the rink. I'll see you at the rink. Meet us at the rink. That's the beauty of it, but really looking forward to heading up to Traverse City. State Champs Network is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Be curious, make magic. Visit ltu.edu today. State Champs Hockey Time is powered by Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time. Warrior Hockey is proud to sponsor the Michigan High School Hockey Player and Goalie of the Year Award. Warrior Hockey is made for this. The Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. For all things Michigan High School hockey, go to the Hub, mihshockeyhub.com. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Reaction Technologies, up your game. Go to reactiontechnologies.com for more information.